All right. Welcome everyone to our webinar series, Discover Real Estate Miami, where we'll be talking about the real estate market here in Miami, all the best opportunities, and obviously we'll be talking about what is going on in the magical city of Miami, in the hottest city in the world. And well, today we'll be talking about specifically what is going on in the real estate market. Obviously, right here, Miami is a city, and really South Florida is an outlier here in the United States, being a market that has really defied everything that is going on in the rest of the country. And we're here to really talk about the facts and show exactly where, why, how come, and where it's headed to. That way you can make the best purchase, whether it be a vacation home, an investment, or even if you're looking to relocate and move here to South Florida. And, just to introduce ourselves a little bit, that way you know exactly who we are. My name is Felipe Ayubi. I'm a realtor located here in South Florida, in Miami. I'm a person that has 7 years of experience already in this industry, even though I do look kind of young, but 7 years is quite a lot. I mainly work with what are new developments and luxury properties located here in the city of Miami. And we're looking forward to be able to help you guys do everything that you need to do. And obviously, being able to purchase a property here in South Florida. And today I'm accompanied by my lovely colleague, and obviously she'll be introducing herself.
Hello, thank you everyone for giving us some time tonight, or today, I should say. Well, my name is Yadira Rubio, and I have a little more time on the industry because I'm much older than Felipe. 20 years. I was a broker in New Mexico, in Texas as well. Now I'm been a few years in Florida. I have over 650 transactions under my belt. I've done commercial, I've done new construction, I've done resales, and I am now also doing new development, which I love. I love the stuff that we do in Florida. I'm also called EXP. We have about 89,000 to help you with your new indoors in real estate in Florida.
Awesome, awesome. And well, thank you, Yadira, for that introduction. We are both part of EXP. And just to get right into it, we want to make this as short as possible, just quick, concise, straight to the point. That way, obviously you don't take much of your time and we give the most information. But just talk a little bit of Miami. Miami right now has turned into a global city, a city where everyone, international and domestic, is looking to buy. It's really become the capital of the world, the new capital of the world, where everyone is looking to relocate, move, buy, put their companies here. So really, we have to talk about what is going on. And Yadira, tell us a little bit more of what's going on in the inventory here in Miami and the outliers of why Miami is as hot as it is.
Yeah, I think we want to go to the specifics. In all-time low, we have 17,391 to be specific properties in inventory. So if you look at it, in the quarter 3 of 2021, we had a close to 219. But if you look at before 2020, we had 45,000. So we really are really short in inventory, and we know why, right? We know because the high interest rates, and so, but hopefully this is about to change.
Yeah. I mean, sellers aren't looking to sell. As we know, sellers right now, they're really thinking right now is how they can maximize their profits. And they don't think that right now is a good time to sell, which is why we're seeing that low inventory. And well, just kind of add something on, due to that low inventory that we have here in Florida, in South Florida specifically, we've had a decrease in the amount of total transactions. We have to take into consideration that a mix of interest rates being high and low inventory means that we'll naturally have a lower amount of transactions. And this number, if for someone that is just looking at it just over at a superficial standpoint, will be like, oh my God, the market is slowing down. But it's really not slowing down. It's really picking up. and it'll pick up even more in the future. And we'll go into details as to why. But these are the reasons why the amount of transactions is lower due to those two factors, the interest rates being high and the inventory being very low. Now,
The low inventory.
yes. And Yaira, tell me a little bit, due to the inventory being low and going into the really natural rule of supply and demand, what's going on with the prices?
Okay, so this is really important for people to pay attention. Single family homes are 18% increase year over year. So look at this. We have an average sale of $1.2 million, Felipe. That's just phenomenal. And then it's only, it's been going up for the last 11 years consistently, right? And then if we talk about condos, we have a 20% increase year over year on prices. Look at what the condos are. That's just incredible, if you ask me.
Oh yeah. And I mean,
right? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. And then if we keep talking about condos now, since we're in that topic, we also can talk about luxury, like $20 million. 2020, we sold 5. On 2022, we sold 17. In 2023, sold 26, and moving to probably 34 by the end of December. Did you hear me? I said 20 million plus.
Exactly. I mean, just to take into consideration, 20 million plus transaction prior to 2020 being 5. And then, obviously last year, 2022, 17, and then being able to double that in 1 year, that means that there's a lot of money, there's a lot of people that have the power to be able to purchase these units, these type of properties are coming. And not only, but we also look at new developments being done, and they're giving those premium options to buy to all these new buyers that are moving here to Miami with listings and properties that are including over 40, 50, 60 million dollars. And it's kind of crazy because they're selling them. There really is being right now at a very quick pace. And obviously, we're just talking about condos, about homes. We've heard about Jeff Bezos buying another over $70 million property here, other than the fact that he already bought one earlier this year for $68 million. So we have to take into consideration that really Miami is being a highly demanded and really sought after right now in what is the luxury market. But now that I talked about a little bit of a developments, let's talk about pre-construction as to what's going on. And nowadays,
and I wanted to add, Felipe, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm so excited about this. You and I and our team, we go like to see these developments, and it's not like somebody's telling us or whatever. We see it, and we have the people that work for the developers telling us what's happening. And a lot of these condos are being sold cash. So this is no like people saying, we see this. It's just really incredible.
Yes. I mean, it's amazing. It's the magical city of Miami.
Yes.
The Miami effect, as I could say. But talking back on this topic again of pre-construction and developments, obviously Miami is a city where there is quite a lot of new developments being put out right now for sale. And a lot of people are thinking that with the amount of pre-construction and new developments being done here in the city of Miami, that it'll be able to suffice the demand and the low inventory that we have. But this going back into details, South Florida and what is Miami really only has just under 8,000 units being done, right? And that are right now for sale, not being constructed, right now for sale. And if we take into consideration, really that's not enough. 53 projects are out right now for people to be able to purchase a brand new, building, brand new apartment at a brand new building. And, obviously we work in this industry. We know that buying new at this moment is the best option you can do and the best purchase you can have right now. But, let's talk about a little bit of what's being constructed right now. So Yadira, Out of the 8,000 units, how many units are being constructed right now?
Only 1,200. 1,200 and going up, and the rest of them are on hold because the developers are waiting on the interest rates to go down. So once the interest rate goes down, then those ones are going to go vertical. But right now, only 1,200.
Yeah, you heard it, folks. 1,200 units are being built right now that are going vertical, that are not built finished right now, but they're being built. You know, and just kind of that into consideration that a lot of developments that we also come to know and learn and sell, they have already pretty much sold over the amount that they need to be able to start building. But, you know, obviously Miami, you know, it's a high demand city. There's a lot of buildings going on. A lot of these builders are doing the smart choice, waiting for interest rates to go down to be able to start. And once they do, I mean, the whole Miami skyline is going to change dramatically with what's going to be built right now. And not only that, it's what else is going to be built in the future. You know, like we're in Miami, obviously it works in cycles of construction. And obviously we have to take into consideration the amount of units being built this cycle and how it will affect the inventory and obviously how it will affect the demand. But Yadira, to kind of give our audience a little bit of an idea as to, you know, what the cycle is, how much is the ideal amount. Tell us a little bit about what happened in the first cycle.
Yes, obviously we you know, as we know, like much is not a number. So what we need to do is we gotta give specifics. So people say, oh, it's a lot of buildings going up, but not really. If you think about it, 2001 to 2010, we had almost 60,000 units, right? Then second cycle, 2012 to 2020, almost 20,000. This cycle, 8,000. So if you compare those numbers, we do not have enough condos for the demand that we have. So it's really interesting. I mean, and obviously we already know what happened in 2000. So obviously everybody was like kind of skeptical, but I think we went a little too far, too low. And so, you know, it's just not enough, period.
Exactly. And, you know, just kind of complement that just a bit. In, you know, the whole first cycle from 2001 to 2010, 60,000 units, almost 60,000 units were built. And the wild thing is just that those almost 60,000 units, all of them got sold. So that's, you know, it's Miami has been a city that has always been in demand, has always been a place where people want to buy. And, you know, right now it's always been a global city, but right now it's the global city of the moment. You know, just like New York was before and how other cities were before, Miami right now is turning and has become that city where everyone just wants to be, you know, and really we have to take in consideration that it's like the new New York, you know, whoever makes it here can make it anywhere. But talking a little bit of that demand, that, you know, what happened in 2001 and, you know, that everything got sold and what's going on right now. Let's go into the you know, the details of exactly what's going on. And yeah, you know, obviously a lot of people have different ideas as to what's going on with the market, you know, why the demand. And you know, a lot of people have been somewhat misled with a couple of things that they've seen on, you know, the news. And, you know, the news obviously can really talk about something, but not really take everything into consideration. Obviously, since we work this market, we know exactly what's going on. You know, a lot of people saw this. And tell me a little bit, you know, about exactly how misleading this can be.
You know, it is. And it's really sad because we should give people bad news, but we should give people good news. So, okay, 80,000 people left Miami, but we forget to say that almost 210,000 have moved in here. So obviously it's like anything else. Some people leave, but now we're almost saying that almost 2.5 times the people that left came into Miami. So we're growing at about a rate of 1,200 people a day. That's a lot of people. So right? If you ask me, and then we're here, we see it. You know, you need reservations to go to restaurants, doesn't matter. So, and which is awesome. I love the more the better. So then 2020 was the catalyst for tax sensitive buyers, right?
Yeah.
Because we have the tax reform that benefit the tax reform 17, which benefited a lot of people here in Florida. So it's just incredible. So now look, you know, 6,213,000 people within Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale or Dade, and Miami. It's just you know, 56,000 people in the last year. You know, it's like, I don't care what anybody says, but this is incredible. This is moving forward, and it's good news.
Yes, it is. It is very, very good news. And, you know, obviously, a lot of people right now are seeing that people are coming to Florida. You know, but people living here are noticing it because, you know, everywhere's full. I mean, on a Friday, Thursday night, you go to anywhere in like what is the greater downtown area, or you know,
Happening, yes.
and every restaurant is full. And that's good. That's obviously amazing things because, you know, the economic boom, the economic growth that brings is a lot. But we also have to take and look at what's been happening on the long term. You know, Miami since the 1950s and what is the state of Florida has been a state that has been constantly growing.
Mhm.
And really year over year it's been growing and growing and growing. And you know, obviously the audience that was coming in those times was very different to the people that are coming nowadays, that are, you know, the people, what they're looking for nowadays. We have to take that into consideration. But Florida has always been a state that has had demand. It's not
Yes.
something, you know, nowadays it has a very high, you know, very crazy demand, but the demand has always been there for this
Correct.
state. And, you know, right now, Florida has become the fastest growing state,
That's right.
pacing states like Texas. And, you know, for multiple reasons, Florida is right now the fastest growing state with its incredible climate, obviously the tax reform that you told, you know, the job opportunities. There's many things here, and I won't get into details. But we also have to take consideration is that Florida right now is the third most populated state. And it's the
Yes.
third most populated state and the third fastest growing country after India and China. And that is absolutely a big thing because,
Yes.
you know, if we're growing in population, that means more and more people have that need to obviously either come to Florida for the options, for the weather, for the different things. So, you know, with that demand, that obviously gives the real estate market here
Yes.
a very positive outcome. For example, this news that came out, Yaida, tell us about this.
So this is unbelievable. We are the second most valuable real estate market. Okay. You know who is number one? It's California. But you know how many people California has? 44 million. We got 22, and we're the second. I mean, that's like they got double the people, and we're behind them. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
The kind of real estate that we have going on here. So it's no brainer. We need you guys to come over.
Yes. And not only that, it's just like we just beat, I mean, this is latest news.
Yes, yes.
The state of New York. New York has always been, you know, people think, oh, one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world, New York, and the state of Florida beat the state of New York.
And
You know,
Texas. I come from Texas, but I'm sorry.
exactly. So, and you know, right now, even though we just beat them, it's not only that we beat them, it's just we're absolutely outgrowing in what is over, you know, in total valuation, looking at all the total sales that there has been throughout the state and throughout the history of the state, being able to see that we're growing and growing and growing, that's a great news. And right now is a, you know, obviously people say, oh, you know, maybe 20 years ago, 40 years ago was the greatest time to plant a tree here in Florida. But we're living a phenomenon.
Yes.
Florida has been, really South Florida, an outlier in the whole country. And I can confidently say that right now is the best time to plant a tree here in South Florida because the boom that we're having, it's not a momentary boom. It's something that's going to be continuing for time to come.
That's
And
right.
now that we're talking about the news, obviously, we want to
Mhm.
give you guys the latest news as to what's going on. Because yes, spoken about inventory, we've spoken about the pre-construction, we've spoken about the demand, but we have to also look at the big players in what is, this economy, what is this market, and we have to take into consideration exactly what's going on. So, Yadira, obviously this touched a little bit about what we've spoken before, but tell us a little bit about what the National Association of Realtors came out with.
So we have a kind of a problem. We have a shortage of 5.5 million homes. That's or no, I shouldn't say homes, I should say units. So even if the developers go fast, it's gonna take us 10 years. So that's what we're saying, that the time to plant a tree is today. Because if you keep waiting, it's just going to get even more difficult. Because the main thing that we need for to people to understand, Felipe, is that there is no inventory and we cannot build it fast enough. So, if there's no inventory and it's plenty of demand, listen, we're the perfect scenario, right? So that's one thing. The next thing is, we all know Mr. Warren Buffett, right? The man is the man. So he invested a little short of $1 billion, 800 million into some real estate. And two of those companies actually are pretty strong here in Lennar and D.R. Horton. And so when you have a man like that puts 800 million into that tells a lot of people a lot, right? That builds confidence, because that means obviously we know he knows what he's doing. So we need to watch that really close as well, especially for those people that don't know what to do. I think that's just reminders that everything is good in the business.
Of course.
Um,
And
right?
just to add something to what you said there, I personally would not bet against Warren Buffett.
Claro.
If he's betting that these companies with his over $800 million investment into these single family home builders mainly, he's obviously seeing that there's a huge demand and he knows that these companies are going to be a huge hit in what is today's market. Obviously we're talking about real estate. We're not trying to put the focus on what are, stocks or anything like that.
Right.
Just to have someone as big as Warren Buffett invest this amount and seeing what's going on in the real estate market. And well, with Warren Buffett, with all of the success he's had, obviously it's something to follow. And it's very important, I think, that, that we take into consideration his move. And, one thing I also want to talk about, obviously, that nowadays is it's a topic that's being more of a household topic is obviously, the inflation. Nowadays, obviously, with post-COVID and everything that happened, inflation rates are a bit high. And obviously, Jerome Powell, he is the chairman of the US Fed. He made inflation his number one enemy. It's public enemy number one. And so he's trying to bring it back down to around the 2 to 3% inflation rate, which was, what we had pre-pandemic, pre-COVID, pre-2020. And he's trying to bring it back down to those levels. That way, we can have, again, that healthy amount and, obviously not see things that go up too crazy. But here is where inflation can also play on your side. If you have a property, inflation will also have an effect on the pricing of your property. So inflation, yes, it's not something, that is commonly viewed as good, but if you own real estate, especially in a place like South Florida, where it's such a high demand, it'll continue to grow, and that means more money for you, obviously. Due to inflation, also, Jerome Powell has obviously increased interest rates. But Ada, tell us what's happening with the interest rates.
So unfortunately, they're the highest rates in the last 23 years. I mean, and it depends who you ask, right? Because when I started real estate back then, they were at 7.5, and people were buying. So it's just depending who you're talking, but they are, and we think that they're just going to go out a little bit more and get a little higher before the end of the year. But then, good news. We think that and this is, again, look at where it's coming from. We expect that by the second quarter of 2024, those interest rates are going to start to drop. And now, my friends, that's going to be a mass competition for us here in South Florida, because we have no inventory, but we're going to have interest rates. So everybody that is waiting, they're all going to go out there. And what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, it's gonna absolutely.
Prices are going to
Oh, I mean,
right.
yeah, it's like buyers are not buying now because of interest rates. Interest
Right.
rates drop down, they're gonna buy.
Yeah.
And if sellers don't want to sell, I mean, that's only gonna drive prices even higher.
That's
So
correct.
it's something that really people have to take into consideration. Right now, we're living a moment in time where it is absolutely perfect to buy. If you have the opportunity to buy real estate here in South Florida, it's the moment. And don't take only our word for it. Why not? Let's look at the numbers. Year over years, for the last 10 years, real estate has been going up 18.5% per year in what is, just an overview for the state of Florida. And this is
Yes.
not me saying it. The U.S.
Correct.
Federal Housing Finance Agency, a government agency, is the one reporting these stats, this information. And so if we take into consideration that over the last 10 years, obviously the last couple of years has been growing a lot quicker than the years pre-2020, but just taking an average 18.5% a year and just running some numbers, we can
Incredible.
see that, people right now obviously have an idea, but once they see why and how, it can really change. So let's take into consideration, Yaira, that the price of a home, and obviously we saw that the price of a home here in South Florida is 1.2 million. But let's just drop it down, something that maybe a little bit more people can purchase nowadays, to $650,000. If you put half 50% of that down payment down, you're left with just a monthly payment of principal and interest only. You can go on Google mortgage calculator, put in the amount at 8%
Anything.
interest, and it'll be $2,385 a month. Now,
Correct.
yeah, there's people that say, you know what, I'm gonna wait next year for the interest rate to go down. And I respect that. Everyone
Yeah.
has a decision. But by waiting, yeah, you get the 6%.
Yeah.
Interest that maybe you're looking for it to drop to that point to purchase. And at that moment, just principal interest only monthly payment, it was going to be $1,949. Now, Yaira, the difference between 6%, 8% interest is around, $470 approximately,
Right.
around there,
Right.
something dollars.
Right.
And if you combine the difference between 8% and 6%, what you would pay in difference in 1 year is going to be $5,232.
That's right.
If you decide not to buy now, and if you buy next year a property in the same amount, putting the same down payments, just having a lower interest rate, you're only going to be saving $5,232.
Correct.
Now, let's just say that you buy a property today at $650,000, and you have a continuation, which you'll have, of 18.5% year over year valuation appreciation of the home equity. In 1 year, that $650,000 home will generate you $120,000 equity.
Right.
Yaira, answer this question for me. What's
What's the question?
What's gonna be better economically and financially?
Listen, buy now, marry the house, and date the rate. You can always refinance when they drop. But I tell you, I'm going to add something, Felipe. When you buy a 650 right now, it's not going to be the same 50 you're going to buy next year. I can promise you that. Listen, it's just, I mean, and I know we're not trying to be pushy. We're just giving education, but information. So because we're in this every day. So this is like a savings account. I mean, like, don't, this is perfect. My daughter would love for me to leave her something like that. You know what I mean? Because it's just growing. So it's no brainer. It's no brainer, literally.
Exactly just that. So, you know, just kind of recapping exactly what we spoke about and, you know, going over, you know, what we just presented for you guys. We spoke about the inventory. We spoke about the pre-construction. We spoke about demand. We spoke about even the latest news and the biggest players that are, you know, affecting our industry and our market here in South Florida. You know, we told you guys before, and we'll say it again right now. Buying real estate here in South Florida today is like planting a tree. And you know, in a couple of years, that real estate that you bought today is gonna be just an absolutely great financial decision for you guys and investment. And you know, in the future, if you want to come live, it's gonna be a great option because you're gonna be able to enjoy everything that Miami has to offer, and the great weather and everything that's great about
Yes.
this. And you know, for those of you that are here with us today live in this webinar, we want to take an opportunity to be able to give you guys an incentive. And obviously, we want to help you guys. We want to be able to give you guys the best service possible. And in this, depending obviously on the purchase price and the type of property that you're buying, we'll be able to also give a little help towards the purchase of your property. That way, it makes the property even better, you know, less money out of your pocket in a city as hot as Miami. And that way, you guys can obviously take advantage of everything that Miami has to offer to invest and buy here. So, Yaira, again, it was great to be able to do this.
Yes.
Obviously, it was great to be able to present this information to our audience today. And the important thing is just that this series of Discover Real Estate Miami is just the beginning. Next week, we'll having another episode, and we're talking about not only what's going on in the market with Miami, but we'll be talking about specific points as to why Miami is in demand, as to the events, the companies that have moved here, all the different things in terms of, you know, why Miami has grown and all the attraction that Miami has. So I thank you everyone for being able to spend time with us today. Yaida, do you have any other thing to say that you want to add
No,
there?
just thank you. I thank you, Felipe. Thank you, everybody that is watching. And like Felipe says, put it on your calendar. We'll be back next week with more information. We don't want to bore you. We just want to give you information so you can make an intelligent decision. And then just, you know, we're here. Give us a call. We'll be happy to help you.
Awesome, awesome. So if you guys have any questions, please message the person that invited you. And that way we'll be able to help you out with every single question that you have. So I wish you guys all a great evening, and we'll see you guys next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. again. All right. Take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.